Was ist los, Raffi? Wir haben doch gerade schon gekuschelt. Ich möchte jetzt ein bisschen spielen hier, ne? Armer Frau Vicky. So, so haben wir Molly mehr oder weniger kennengelernt. Hey, mein Schatz.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own
Ach,
even tinier gerbil
ach, das ist ja
cage.
cool. Das ist der Käfig, das Gehege, oder Käfig eher gesagt, von der Rennmaus. So eine richtige eigene Wohnung in der Schublade. Das ist ja cool. Hier war auch eigentlich eine Tür, ne? Ich dachte, da kommt man vielleicht noch mal durch, aber das ist der Hai.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Wollen wir unter das Bett gucken? Können wir glaube ich, gar nicht. Ja, aber wo soll sie denn sein? Ach, die Katze. Okay. Und da war doch gerade eine Katze. Oh, Vorsicht. Ach, wir können jetzt hier drauf laufen. Mhm.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
In Oma Eddies Zimmer.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
Mhm. Um vor Mom zu verstecken.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Und warum evakuierten die Insel? To evacuate because of a little forest fire. Ach so, wegen einem kleinen Waldbrand.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Wir in Norwegen. Norwegische Flagge. Die Tür kriegen wir auf, aber hier haben wir noch ein bisschen was zu schauen.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann.
Dein Familienfluches.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
1880 bis 1937. Der Odin. Mhm. Hallo Sir Pinguin. Sven und Eddie. Wollen wir da rein? Nein, die Tür ist zu. So, wir hatten aber noch hier eine Tür, durch die wir
Even
gehen
in her
können.
90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Was ist denn das für ein Bad? Uiuiui. Ein Stuhl. Okay, da war auf jeden Fall schon. Ach ja, es war ja von der Uroma das
The only
Zimmer,
trace
ne?
Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Rosafarbene Badezimmer. Oh, was für ein
It was a pretty big
Teppichboden.
trace.
Markante Spur, ja. Da haben wir was. Okay, nächstes Diary. Mal was? Bei Sven und Eddie Finch. There's a secret in this bathroom. Aha.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Aha.
Sven
Ja,
gave
mit-
Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Ja, mit so einem Geheimgang hier oder Geheimzimmer nachher hätte ich auch nicht mehr gerechnet hier, aber yo, wofür? Milton. Da steht doch Milton. Milton ist doch der kleine Bruder, Milton Finch, der vermisst wird. Also gibt es von dem Zimmer von Oma und Opa einen Geheimweg hier zu, ja, Eddies und Svens Zimmer. Hä? Ich dachte jetzt, das wären kleine Kinder gewesen. Warum ist denn hier ein Aschenbecher und Zigaretten und Stümmel?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
Ich wusste, dass Opa Sam einen Zwillingsbruder hatte. Achso, nee. Fort Calvin. Okay, schauen wir mal.
And that he never talked about him.
Für seinen Zwillingsbruder? Okay. Comment Center.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Ah, hier kann man voll Raumschiffkapitän spielen. Calvin. 1950 bis 61, ja, der wurde nur 11 Jahre alt.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Wo hat er ein gebrochenes Bein? Jo, geil. Aber wir wollen schaukeln.
My brother
Und
said he'd die
zurück.
before he ate another mushroom.
Und
And
vor.
he did.
Einen Pilz essen? Vor. So. Und zurück. Können wir aufstehen? Können wir irgendwas machen? Hä? Ja, was denn? Oh. Was soll man denn machen? Ach, mit beiden! Meine Fresse, okay.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Aber verwandelte sich jetzt gleich in einen Vogel, ja?
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming! But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Entschloss er sich wohl, was zu
I told
tun.
him going around was impossible.
Nie ganz rumschaffen. Ach so, ein Überschlag.
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Und dabei ist er gestorben jetzt, oder was?
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then
Oh, das
maybe
dauert nicht mehr
he'd
lange.
still be here. But I
What the
doubt.
fuck? Echt, ist er dabei
I think
gestorben?
he'd already made up his mind.
Dann wie kommen wir jetzt rüber? Ja, los.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Ja, Alter.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Ja, war sehr lecker, Lisa und Marcel. Dankeschön dafür.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Wir hatten das von uns damals nicht auf so Spielplätzen mit Schaukeln. Da hat man immer versucht, irgendwie einen Überschlag zu machen, aber hat man eh nie hingekriegt. Okay.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Mit einem Seil ab. Das war jetzt echt die Story, wie er gestorben ist. Ja, krass. Kommen wir jetzt hier durch? Nö.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Hier das nächste Geheimnis? Hallo? Junge, was denn? Mach doch. Ja, geht doch.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, auch für kleinere Kinder gedacht. So.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Ein Kinderstar in den Händen von Godzilla oder so ähnlich.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Oh. Mhm.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh, das spielen wir jetzt wieder. Mhm, okay. Das ist doch Michael Myers Musik.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Moin Simon, schönen guten Abend. Wie geht's dir? Hi, schön, dass du da bist. Das ist Halloween quasi, das Horrorthema. Meinst du hier Michael Myers Musik oder was? Ja. Wie? Hallo? Was ist?
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Aufspießte und aß. Ja, geil. Wenn er Hunger hatte. Boah, wir können mit R1 einfach die Krücken hier schlagen. Ja, easy. Können wir auch irgendwie ausweichen. Okay. Wer möchte die Krücke spüren? Du! Blonde, totes Engel. Okay. Oh, das ist anscheinend die Tischsäge, auf die der Vater gefallen ist. Ein Boxsack. Müssen wir hier nicht durch? Doch, bestimmt, ne? Ja. Ganz schön dunkel hier.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Da ist bestimmt nur schlechter Joghurt drin oder so, der langsam raus will. Hallo?
Oh dear!
Ja, selber schuld. Wenn du uns so erschreckst, kriegst du einen
Barb,
kriegst du eine Krücke vom
I was
Kopf.
just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Dann werden wir mal gucken. Erstmal hier den Wecker kaputt hauen, dass er uns nicht mehr wecken kann. So. Der kam jetzt von oben, ne? Das Schrei. Oha. Hast du nicht aufgeräumt? Walter?
Walter, are you there?
Walter?
Walter had vanished. His bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And whoever he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Müssen wir jetzt abhauen?
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Ja, und wie? Wo? Aus dem Fenster springen? Hallo, mach Tür auf. Oder Fenster eher gesagt. Nein? Wohin denn? Hä? Ich sehe keinen anderen Weg. Hä? Muss hier noch einen anderen aus... Ach so, hier. Habe ich doch direkt gesehen.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
So, jetzt sind wir in Mollys Zimmer. Jetzt auch wieder aus dem Fenster?
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
Ja, Walter war doch eh verschwunden. Wie jetzt? Hä? Hier durch?
Holly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Und nimm das. Oha.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Das war ein Unfall. Nope. Ich will mir den nicht nochmal angucken, da wenn er jetzt da unten liegt. Er ist weg.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Komm rein, Tür ist auf.
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Hä? Umdrehen? Oh.
Oh dear.
Uff.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with
Berühmt
her
sein.
final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent.
Hört sich aber nicht gespielt an.
She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Hä?
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
So, das war die Geschichte von
Edie told me
Barbara.
all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
44 bis 60. Ist aber auch nur 16 Jahre alt geworden. Alter, ey. Was für eine Scheißfamilie. So. Aber 3D-Brille hat sie gehabt. Das Leben muss sich gelohnt haben. Skydun, Skydun. Mhm. Okay. Wieder zurück. Ah, schön.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Mhm. Kann ich mir auch gut vorstellen. Müssen wir jetzt hier durch? Müssen wir. So, was haben wir hier?
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Barbara. Jetzt auf dem Dachboden.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Na gut. Gibt es keinen anderen Weg?
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Mhm.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had
Ah,
peepholes and
hier sind
sealed
wir
rooms
wieder.
you weren't allowed inside of.
Ja, das hatten wir, genau. Gregory. Nur, was? Nur. Nein, ey. Nur 1 Jahr alt, ey. Calvin, von 50 bis 61. Die wurden immer alle nur so um den Dreh, ne?
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Halt sich 7 Jahre lang. Mhm. Oh, 1917 bis 2010, der Eddie hier. Das ist eine stramme Leistung. Sven Hofstand Finch von 15 bis 64 ist im ne, Vergleich zu den anderen Familienmitgliedern auch schon eine ordentliche Leistung.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Na schön. Dann muss es ja jetzt noch einen anderen Weg geben. Haben wir hier schon mal durchgeguckt? Ne, das ist Mollys Zimmer. Sie auch, ja, genau, 10 Jahre.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Hm. Ja, und nu? Jetzt den Schlüssel nehmen und ab in den Keller? Oder?
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Ja gut, das weiß ja auch anscheinend keiner, ne? Da kriegen wir jetzt den Schlüssel hier raus? Bestimmt, ne? Hier raus, genau.